Nemo Radio is on the air.
A, B, C. A, always B, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And today we're going to talk about why people buy, right? Sales psychology really made quite simple because this is it, right? It doesn't matter how good your logic is. It doesn't matter how good your facts are. It doesn't matter how compelling the statistics that you share are. There's more to it of why people buy. And so we're really going to dive into that, the emotion, the psychology, to get people to say yes, to get people to want to take your offer. Okay, so we're going to dive deep into that today. I'll turn off the screen share. All right, everybody is new today. I love it. Wow. Well, welcome to the newcomers. All right, so welcome, everybody. Here's what I want to do. Again, my name is John Nemo. This is Noon with Nemo. Super excited to dive into this topic today of why people buy, right? And so I'm going to share a few different training videos today from some of my different online courses, which I'll talk about later, but really getting into sales psychology. What's going to get people saying yes, what they're really buying when they come with you, right? It's not necessarily your product or service. It's really something different. So let me get the video queued up. I'm going to jump behind the keyboard here, share some training with you, obviously still live in the chat, everything else. But let's dive into this first training on really what people want to buy from you, what they really want to get, and why they're buying. So let's dive in. So now we're going to talk about step 3, and this is a big, big step. If you want to make a lot of sales, you want to nail step 3, okay? And that is the step of why this matters. What is the opportunity that I'm going to make available to you today by the time I'm finished with this webinar? And what I'm talking about is not just the simple, functional, kind of black and white benefits that people can get if they use your product, your service, your training, whatever it is you're quote unquote selling, but what that would mean to their life. That's the extra step we need to take. Not just I can help you make more money, not just I can help you get more clients in less time, but what would that mean to you and to your life if you could achieve those things? So here's the deal. We've got to get people excited, right? We've got to get people emotional and dreaming big and wanting to achieve that, right? Envisioning themselves having those dream things happen for them. And it's not meant to be manipulative. It's not meant to be disingenuous or misleading. It's more to tap into people's emotional centers, to get them engaged and excited and emotional. Because one thing we all know is we buy based upon how we feel. We buy based upon emotion. We later will use facts and logic and testimonials and statistics to justify our purchase. But be honest with yourself. You buy because it's going to make you feel good, right? Or because you're excited about what that product could do for you. So here's a real-time example of how you can do this. 2 of the biggest benefits that people want, 2 of their deepest desires are more time and more money, right? And so here's how you can set that up. Typically, almost all of us are going to offer something with our program, our product, our service that is going to help people save time or be more efficient, or it's going to help them make more money, get more clients, win more business, right? Obviously, I can't cover every single service on earth, but that's the idea. These are 2 big benefits, time and money. So here's how you combine those together with audience engagement to tap into that emotional center. So let's say you've just gone through the validation, what you're going to discover today, and you've listed out some of the benefits, like how to save 10 hours a week prospecting or whatever it is. Now you transition into this step 3 by saying something along the lines of, and the best part about all of this is time. Because the one thing we all have in equal amounts, the one thing I know that you can relate to as I'm speaking directly to you, is we have such limited time in the day. So I want you actually, I'm going to stop my thoughts because I want to hear from you. I want you to type into the comment box area. Go ahead and type in the chat. What would you do if you had more time? Go ahead and type that in. I'm dying to know. I want to know what you specifically, you personally would do if you had more time in your life, in your day, in your week. Would you travel? Where would you go? Would it be more time with your kids, more family time? Would it be starting a new business? Would it be starting a new hobby? What would it be reading? What would it be? Type that into the chat box, the comments. I want to hear what you have to say. I know for me personally, time is everything. You can buy a lot of things, but you cannot buy more time. And with the stage of life that I'm in right now, as a small business owner, a coach, a consultant, a trainer, all those things that I do, all those hats that I wear, family time is everything to me. I don't want to miss a moment of my boys as they're growing up. All the wild adventures we have. We have this crazy dog, Rosie, a Wheaten Terrier, who's now this, inseparable part of our family. And by the way, if you're a dog person, let me know that in the comments. I want to give a shout out to your dogs. So tell me your dog in the comments, what breed, what name, anything like that. I love talking dogs, but we have so much fun. And because of the gift that LinkedIn has given me and what it's going to give you by the time I'm through with you on this webinar, you are going to have more time for these types of things, for the family time, for the fun experiences with your kids, for traveling, for starting a new hobby, a new life, whatever it is. That's my focus, is getting you more time to do what you love. And what happens is people engage. And then what I do is I wait till those comments come in. And if I need to, I can riff a little bit and say, I don't know about you, but for me, and typically I do this while I'm waiting for the comments to come in, you just riff a little bit about what you would do. And then as people write those in, you riff on that. If it's a hybrid webinar, right, and this is part of your presentation where it's already playing, you can only chat back to people, but it works really well. Like, let's say Jane writes in, I want to travel more. What you write in the comments right away in real time is, awesome, Jane, where would you go? ? And then Fred types in, learn to play guitar. And then you write into the chat, awesome, Fred, who's your favorite musician? See how we're sparking little conversations? You can do this as well live. If you're on live and those comments come in, you can just say, oh, Jane says she would travel more. All right, Jane, we got to know, where are you going? And then she types in Hawaii. And then you can riff off that and go, Hawaii, awesome, I'm in. Don't forget to stop by Minneapolis and pick me up. Or Fred writes guitar, right? I would want to learn to play guitar. And you say, Fred, guitar, that is awesome. I got to know, who's your favorite band? Who's your favorite guitar player? And what you're doing when you banter, just briefly, this isn't a 20-minute section, this is just a couple of minutes, but what you're doing with those people that are engaging is you're warming them up even more. You're building the know, the like, the trust, credibility. You're building empathy. You're getting them excited. You're tapping those emotional buttons that they're dreaming now. Fred is thinking about riffing on the guitar with all the time and money he's going to save using your program. Jane is thinking about that Hawaiian beach vacation that she's going to be able to take because you're promising she can save this many hours a week and make more money at it. Maybe Bill is thinking about, my thing is I want to spend more time with my 21-month-old twins. And he's thinking, oh my God, imagine if I could be home every day at 3 o'clock playing with the kids when they wake up from their nap. Once people get into that mode of sharing their dream, making it more real, and you're riffing with them about it, they're excited, they're engaged, they're emotional. And that is the opportunity you're selling. You're not selling more money and more clients. You're selling their dream. That's what I want you focused on. Because honestly, that's what's going to drive people anyway. Right? What's your motivator? Yes, we all want to make more money, but why? For me personally, I want to make more money so I can buy more time, right? I want to buy family time. I don't want to trade dollars for hours. That's why I'm doing an online training. So for you, it's something else. That's what's driving people. So tap into what's driving them. It's not manipulative. It's not tricking people. It's not mind control. It's just engaging and connecting at a deeper level. And trust me, sales, commercials, people are doing this every single day. We all do it. We just don't really understand it when we turn around and try to sell to others that that's what they want. So there you go. That is step 3, and it is a biggie. So make sure that you really take the time to craft this. Again, this is going to tie back to step 2 in the validation and the benefits that people get from being on your training and eventually from buying your product. But you've got to really help those come to fruition in a way where they can achieve their dreams using your program. Not just money, not just time, not just clients. Go further. What would it be? What would you do with the time? What would you do with the money? What would you do with more clients? What's your passion in life? And believe me, we all love to tell you. That's our favorite subject, is us. You will be amazed at what people put in the comments. You will be amazed at the level of engagement. So make sure you apply this step. Yeah, and that's a big one as I come back on camera here. getting people emotional, we really lose this online. This is something a lot of people struggle with when it's easy in real life when you're doing a face-to-face kind of interaction with a prospect to have them be emotional because you're talking eye to eye, so to speak. But you forget online that you can't take that out, right? You can't remove that from the process and expect people to buy. That's why so many people get frustrated with selling products and services online. If it's, through a webinar, a Zoom call, email, phone call, even, you have to get the other person emotional. Like you have to find out. And the examples, it was funny because I was sharing here an example from my LinkedIn Riches webinar where I'm talking about, what would you do with more time? And some of you were actually answering in the comments, right? You were telling me like, yeah, I want to travel. Ben wants to go back to Naples, Florida, right? Reyes has got all, going to Iceland and Croatia. Like you're getting excited now. You're thinking about your happy place, right? Traveling. Now, if I could position my product or service in a little bit here to say, if having more time and more revenue could get you to Croatia, would you want to know how to do that? And you'd be like, yes, I would. That's where then you place your product or service. So it goes beyond just stats, facts, figures, numbers. Again, people will say to you, I want more leads. I want more time. I want more money. But that doesn't motivate them nearly as much as so that I can spend more time with my grandkids, go to Croatia, go to Greece, go to Naples every winter. Like that's the difference. And that's where you tip the scales for selling is when they get excited and emotional. And again, Dale Carnegie talks about this. He says like, no one's interested in you. No one's interested in me, but everyone else is eternally interested in themselves and solving their own problems. And that's why you can't skip this part of sales. When you want people to work with you, you've got to dig into that. And so what I showed in the example here was how to do that kind of in a larger environment on a webinar. You can ask people and interact in the comments. You can also do this on a one-on-one sales call where you can basically just go in and say to the person, yeah, what do you like to do for fun? What's kind of your passions, your hobbies? Like find out what those are and then tap into those and tie in your service to help them get more of that. Or like, what's your big goal for this year, right? So again, I love it. All right. Yeah, it is, Raisa. It is effective for getting them engaged. Yes. Catherine is so funny. I'm just reading the comments. Okay. So are you liking this? Type yes in the comments if you're liking this type of training, if this is helpful for you, because I've got more. So I'm going to wait. Dramatic pause. I know there's a little bit of a lag, but type yes in the comments if you're finding this helpful. I need to know. Glory. I want to make sure I'm with my people. Let's see. All right. And then I want to find more training here. Okay, good. People are saying yes, yes, yes. John says yes. Raisa says yep. Catherine's giving me smiley faces. Royce says yes, all caps. Mary Greenlee is in. All right, good. Glory. All right, good. I'm glad you guys are finding this helpful. So I want to pivot into another key training that I like to share. All right, oh, good. Josh is in. All right. Raisa says this is already a really good tip. Like, yeah, exactly. I was demoing it, and while I'm demoing it, you guys are responding. So, all right, love it. Ben says we'll keep you. All right. I want to share another training. Again, this is from a course I do that I'll talk about later, how to get access to on sales psychology and why people buy. And this part is really about how to build in know, like, and trust. We all know this if we do any type of selling or have products or services that we want people to buy. People, one, they buy when they're emotional, but also they need to feel a connection to you. They need to know you and like you and trust you. You need to be approachable, authentic, transparent. That's, we still at the end of the day with all the technology, all the online stuff, all the interaction, all the stuff flying around on the internet, you still are dealing with human beings. And so I want to share a little bit of how to build that in, especially when you're doing an online presentation, a webinar, a video, a piece of content. How do you build know, like, and trust into that? How do you get people to kind of bond with you, relate to you, and have empathy with you? So let's dive into that in this next little training snippet on how to really do that. So here we go. So now we're going to roll into what is perhaps my favorite step of them all. Step 4, the story, your story. A lot of people will call this the hero's journey as well. And the reason I love this is because I am a story junkie. And so are you, by the way, whether you know it or not. If you love music, if you love movies, if you love TV shows, if you watch Netflix, for hours on end, if you love books, if you use social media and news and all that, it's all story. It's all narrative. And the reason this matters so much when we're putting together a webinar to buy and sell a product at the end, right? That's the goal we want for our audiences. They need a narrative to fit to you. So that people can know, like, and trust you and buy from you, they need to attach a story to you. They need to know who you are and why you created this product and where you came from. And this is really what we call an origin story or a hero's journey of why did you do this, right? Why did you get into coaching? Why did you decide to create this piece of software? Why did you do that? People need to know that. Whether they'll admit it or not, they want to trust you. And the number one way that we trust people is we say, well, tell me your story. There's got to be a story, right? Again, story really steers where the sales come from. So let's start with your hero's journey. First, of course, I've got copy that you can use. You can use these different scripts I've got in the swipe copy file. So definitely take advantage of that to kind of phrase up and frame up how you want to make these transitions. Because again, at this point, you've already gone through the first 3 steps, right? You've introduced everybody, you've warmed people up, you've told them about the opportunity that's available, the emotional buttons have been activated, they're excited. So what you want to do now is transition into your story. And this is really critical how you do this because again, if you tell your story in the wrong way, you're going to either turn people off or bore them and they're going to leave. And either way, they won't buy from you. So really pay attention closely in this module because I want you to understand there is a specific way to, spin your story, so to speak, to, use your narrative to get people to know, like, and trust you and then to buy from you. So the number one way to transition into this is we basically do something along the lines of, now, I know you're excited. Before we dive deep into today's training, I just want to quickly share with you a little bit about who the heck I am and where I came from and why I'm so passionate about XYZ, right? Because you want to kind of give them a subtle hint of, now I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story. So 3 key outcomes we want to have when you're sharing your story, when you're taking people through your journey of how you got from there to here. Here's the 3 things we want to happen. We want people, as a result of hearing your story, to know, to like, and to trust you, right? You've become known to them. They relate to you now. You are relatable. People feel like, oh, I get it. He's just like me. I can see how he got there. I can do it too, right? That's the third point, is you want people to see you as well as an authority, as a credible expert on this topic, because you have reached the mountaintop, so to speak, because you have gone on that journey and made it to the promised land. You can be the expert. You can be the guide to bring them there as well, right? You're the Sherpa that's going to bring them up Mount Everest now, right? Because people are starting in a different place than where you were. So the idea with this is really to take people from where you were, which maybe was, fat, broke, and unhappy and miserable, whatever it is in the beginning, right? Frustrated at your day job, whatever it might be, to where you are now, which is happy, fulfilled, enjoying life, getting those benefits we just talked about, more family time, more revenue, passion projects, work I love, whatever those wins are. You want to take them from, hey, I was once in your shoes. I was struggling. I was having these issues. To the middle part is I, stumbled and fell and got up and dusted myself off and found, a way to learn and develop a solution, a secret, a platform, a blueprint. And then that brought me to here, right? To where I am now. And as you unfurl that story, as you walk people through the steps you took to get to the promised land, you're at the end then going to be able to turn around and say, if you want to do it too, you can do it without going through all the struggle I went through. Because people always want that is, well, I want the same outcome you have, but I don't want to have to do the work. Think about it in those terms as we move through this. So really, as I mentioned, the beginning of the hero's journey, and you'll see this theme throughout every great movie and story and book and everything, right, is you have a person, right? The hero of our story. Is it Luke Skywalker in Star Wars? That's the famous example people always point to is the Star Wars series. Or, I'm a sci-fi nerd, so maybe I'll go with The Matrix, right? And Neo is the hero. What do you see in common with, let's say, Neo from The Matrix or Luke Skywalker? In the beginning of the story, in the very beginning, they're a nobody. Right? Luke Skywalker in the very beginning of Star Wars is a nobody living in the middle of nowhere on his uncle's farm, just kind of bumbling around. And in the beginning of the Matrix films, which were very wildly popular in the 90s, which follow the hero's journey, Neo is just some unfulfilled office drone, right? He's a guy just working in a cubicle, bored, trying to hack around at night, but he hasn't accomplished it. So your version of that is, once upon a time, you were there too. Once upon a time, you were unhappy, you were overweight, you were unfulfilled, you were doing work you didn't love, you were $100,000 in debt. Whatever that negative situation was, we have to start there. We just have to, right? You're not going to be able to sell and build trust and empathy and likability and relatability if you pretend that you're perfect and if you pretend that you've always had it all together. I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe you, right? Because you're human. And honestly, the more that you can be real and be transparent and share your struggles in the midst of how that got you to where you are today, people love that. They relate to you. They like you. They cheer you on. The journey is the reward. So what we want to do is you want to start with, how once upon a time you were someone looking to achieve X, Y, Z, but you were held back by ABC. I really wanted to get out of this job I hated, but I was really held back by limiting beliefs. And maybe this story is going to go into how you now as a coach help people overcome limiting beliefs. Do you see this? Or maybe it was, I was struggling with paying my mortgage and I was frustrated and I was working too many hours and I really, was held back by not having enough time in the day, or so I thought. And the solution might be your time management program that you sell now, right? How you discovered how to manage your time. See where I'm going with this? So you start with, here's where I was. Things were miserable. I was unhappy. I was being held back by these thoughts or beliefs or these struggles, or here was the situation, right? Here's the lay of the land. Now, that's part one. That's where you start at. Part two of the story is you decided to do something about it. You took action. You discovered a solution. And that solution, of course, is going to be the topic of today's webinar. And as a result, I was able to achieve the goal, where you are today, what they want as well. So remember these key things. Your story, your hero's journey, it needs drama. It needs risk. It needs to have a narrative that's exciting to people. Nobody has it all together, right? Tony Robbins wasn't born and walked out of the womb as Tony Robbins, firing everybody up. Oprah didn't come out and just become Oprah. They had a journey they went through. They had struggles. They had to overcome things. They had setbacks. They had enemies. They had all kinds of things that they had to walk through. So do you. So do I. And so what we want to really make sure is when you share your story, don't be afraid to share the drama. And it doesn't have to be made up, phony drama. It doesn't have to have stuff exploding or, World War III or 4 or 5, whatever, it might be. It just has to be, there was drama, right? So for me, when I'm sharing my hero's journey, the drama of the story was I quit a safe day job. I started my own company. That's a lot of drama there because there's risk. And to add to the drama, to add to the fear, to add to the narrative, I had a wife who wasn't working at the time and 3 young boys to feed. Whoa, oh my gosh, is he going to come through? Are the kids going to go hungry? This story is setting up dramatically. There are real stakes here. It wasn't like I was on my own with $1 million inheritance and I could just fart around on LinkedIn. Okay. It mattered. I was, using live ammunition, real bullets. You want to add the same elements of drama to your story. And I don't know what those are, right? I can't crawl into your brain and say, as you move from where you were to where you are today with the solution you offer, how did you get there? What were the key turning points? What was the drama? But that needs to be in there because drama and risk create empathy. They create sympathy. They create that audience cheering you on, liking you, knowing you, trusting you, just like we rooted Luke Skywalker on in the Star Wars movies, or we rooted for Neo in the Matrix movies to win, right? the same idea. We want to cheer on this underdog overcoming these obstacles to become the hero, to win the big game, whatever it might be. So again, the goals of your hero's journey and of telling your story, the audience must feel empathy for you, right? Based on that drama that you shared, the risks that you took, the failures that you had, the mistakes you made, what you overcame, they've got to develop empathy for those. I started here. There was a lot of drama. I had a lot of struggles. There were obstacles. There were mistakes made. Here's some of that in a nutshell. Then I got to this solution. I turned the corner. This happened. I got this result. And then I moved into this, right? And then now I'm here today. And that's, why I'm so passionate about the topic of this webinar, because I want this for you too. Right? You bring it back to the audience as you walk through your hero's journey. Because again, remember, they want what you have. They want to go where you are. They want to get to that mountaintop. So again, the audience must see that you have achieved what they want. You have found the solution that they are looking for. And that makes you qualified to talk to them. You are credible. You are an expert. You have gone out and done it. I'm not going to take mountain climbing advice from someone who's never climbed a foothill. I want to take mountain climbing advice from somebody who's climbed Everest. So same idea, your hero's journey is critical to setting you up as the authority or the expert on your topic. Now, another key thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, is as you tell your story, as people get to know you and like you and trust you and empathize with you, you want them to feel like, wow, I can do it too, right? John discovered this solution that can be replicated. He's laying out a path I can follow. I can, use his step-by-step solution to do it too, and I won't have to have all the pain and suffering and drama he did. Wow, great, I'm interested. See, what you want to do is have them feel like, John was just like me. I can do this too. Because the big mistake you don't want to make on a webinar or anytime is your audience thinking you're somehow unique and special and that they can't do it. It would be like me saying, well, you're Tony Robbins. I could never do what you do. And then Tony Robbins would shake me by the neck and go, what are you talking about? Because I know Tony Robbins' backstory. Grew up without a dad, abusive mom, just tons of pain and abuse and wounding. And then just fought and struggled and clawed and scratched, reading and studying and just working on limiting beliefs and having a few inspirational people help him in his life and turning the corner and having more failures, but keep moving forward and, putting it into practice. And now he's Tony Robbins, right? So it's the same idea of, even though Tony Robbins is where he is, I can look at his hero's journey and his story and say, well, I can do that. Like, yeah, I get it. I mean, he was way worse off than me, right? Or, that's what you want them to really develop out of this is I can do it too. Now, the last most important point of your hero's journey, this is really important on the sales side of things. The audience must feel like following your approach is going to save them time, money, frustration, pain, embarrassment. You want them to really tap into this idea of, wow, he went through all this. What he's telling me is, I found the solution and I'm going to hand you, the step-by-step guide so you don't have to suffer like I did, right? Because as human beings, our cave person nature is I want to avoid pain and I want to seek pleasure. So if you can tell me I'm going to get you to where you want to be with, income, revenue, family time, whatever those goals are, and I'm going to help you avoid the pain of getting it. As much as you can do that to me, I'm in. I want to buy it. And that's going to become one of the strongest parts of your sales pitches. Now, look, you can go out and do it on your own. You can struggle. You can do what I did and stumble out in the wilderness for a few years and struggle and try to piece it together and, blah, 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 blah. Or you can take this turnkey, ready-to-go solution. I'm going to walk you through. I've been in your shoes. I want to save you the time and the trouble and the pain. People will pay money for that, right? People will pay for a faster, easier, better way. So your hero's journey really needs to help them understand that. So the last thing I want to say about the hero's journey, it really needs to be condensed into a short amount of time. This is not supposed to be your life story. Don't start with the day you were born until today. It needs to be condensed, quick, fast. And I've got some scripts that you can use and some templates to kind of keep it moving along and some of the key points to hit on. I can't tell your story for you. Okay, you're going to have to do that, but I can give you the guideposts as a framework to tell it well. And that's what this module is designed to do. Now, some of the assets that you can use to tell your story well are things like before and after photos. It could be you before you lost the weight and after you lost the weight. It could be your bank statement before you found this solution, your bank statement after, right? Your sales numbers before you created this, your sales numbers after. It could be you looking miserable before and then you with your family in Disneyland after. Think about imagery, because every great story has powerful imagery. So whether it's, stock art that really captures a feeling or an emotion, or stock video, or whether it's you, which is better, right? Videos of you achieving or accomplishing or going from where I was to where I am today. That really resonates. There's a reason every single weight loss program on earth uses before and after photos. The transformation, the journey. Oh, I can see it, right? Every movie uses that little section where the person is, working hard to make the change, and it's like the music starts pumping and you see them exercising or practicing their sword fighting or whatever it is to win the big battle, to win the big game, doing their push-ups, whatever it is. You want to use elements of that in your story, right? So I got to work, and you show a picture of you writing, or I got to work, and show some stock photo or video of somebody really grinding it out, working hard, so that people can have imagery. Remember, infotainment, you're giving them information, you're telling them your story, but you also need to entertain them. So think of ways, visual cues, audio, video clips, anything that's going to help you tell your story well, you want to use in this section. So again, to summarize this module, because it's so important, the hero's journey. It starts with where you were once upon a time, what happened, and where you are now. That's really the three key elements. And all the rest is kind of filling in the blanks, filling in the details, adding the color, adding the entertainment elements, adding the drama, adding the risk, adding the outcomes. But that's it. Where I was, what happened, where I am today. And then the sales part, coming up next is how you can do it too. But let's really focus in on this. Let's really understand this shouldn't be more than 5, 10, 15 minutes of your webinar at most. Really, I'd like to see it between 5 and 10 minutes at the most. And the last thing I want to say, remember, as much as I'm telling you that this is important to share your journey, your story, the hero's journey, people don't want to spend all day listening to you talk about your life. So condense this, because again, people are not tuning in to listen to you talk about your life on end. They want to know your story, but all we need to do is give them enough of your story with these key elements covered so that they will know you, like you, trust you, empathize with you, and want to buy from you. Again, this is nuanced. It takes some practice, but watch this module again. Use some of the scripts that I've given you, some of the direction I've given you in the swipe files, and get after it. What I love too is what came up in the chat while we were going through this, where I think it's Ray, so hopefully I'm saying your name right. You can't tell me otherwise, right? Unfortunately. But you asked a great question, which is like, if it's not your personal story, do you share like a case study? Absolutely. So for example, if you have a product or service, and you helped a client get from, here to here, that's what you share. It's their story, right? So when this client came to me, they were struggling with A, B, and C. What happened was I helped them by providing, XYZ services. What it's like today, they have these benefits, and I'd like to help you do the same thing. And that's the idea. Resa. Okay, Resa. There we go. All right. I'm not too far off, pretty good. Resa. So that's really the key, is understanding whether it's your story that you're sharing or, a client story. Or a case study or whatever it is. Like, it's very simple. What it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And again, it's so important. Catherine Bishop brought this up in the comments too, to be relatable, to be authentic, to be transparent, to not be so like high and mighty and full of yourself, but also not to just be wallowing. And, those are the two extremes, right? So you don't want it to be an episode of Oprah or Dr. Phil and woe is me and how terrible things were, but you also don't want it to be like you're unapproachable and life is always easy. We know that's not the truth. The key thing is just be authentic, be yourself, and show enough that people believe like, okay, you went through it, you're on the other end, and I can follow your proven path. Or with your client, they had a proven path that you took them through and it works. People need to know before they'll buy from you, not only do you know what you're doing, but will it work for me personally, my situation. So that's why stories are so powerful, and especially stories that will relate to specific people. So for example, with my LinkedIn Riches training, I'll be like, hey, specifically for you, if you're a small business owner, a coach, a consultant, a solopreneur, here's a story about people just like you, right? I'm not necessarily saying if you're at a corporate place and have 1,000 employees, like I'm not trying to be everything to everyone. So it's the same with you, knowing the riches are in the niches. Tell stories that people relate to in their walk of life, their type of situation. Okay. Living in a van down by the river. That's awesome. Matt Foley reference for the win. I love it. I love it, Catherine. So let me ask you this at this point, do you want more tips? Is this resonating? Like, let me know in the chat. Yes, this is good. I want more tips on how to get people to buy. Because if you do, then I have some more training I can share with you. So tell me in the comments if you want more. Let me know if you want more of this, why people buy, how to get know, like, and trust, how to get people to really work with you. Just type yes in the chat if you want that, because I've got more I want to share with you. So I'm going to wait here with bated breath to see if people are interested in getting more from me. All right. All right. Racist says yes. All right. Good, good, good. All right. Glory. All right. I'm with my people here. All right. ETN says yes. Lenny says yes. All right. Good. Of course, we all need more. Good, good, good. All right. Yes. Ben says yes, yes. All right. Roy says glory. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so I'm with my people here. So what I want to do is share with you this course, my Sales Psychology and Secrets course. So let me pull that up. I'm going to actually pop that tab open for everyone, because this is how you can really take this to the next level. This is really my secret sauce on how to get people to buy, like why they buy, what to say, all of that, right? Okay, yeah. And Catherine is saying, yeah, the Matt Foley, we have to do it on a Friday. Absolutely. So let me pull this up, and I'll also pull up the little page here. Let me find it, of why people buy. Okay, boom. So get the online course. There it is. All right, and then I'm going to share my screen with you and just show you a little bit more about this course. So again, this is the page where you can check out, and yes, I have live chat, so you can ask me one-on-one questions there. But this is it, Sales Psychology and Secrets, why people buy. And this is something that's universal. Doesn't matter what you do, what your product or service is, whatever it is, you've got to really understand these core elements. And the best part about it is really understanding how to do it without being manipulative, without being sleazy or spammy, without feeling like you're being inauthentic. This course is really designed to give you permission to be yourself, right? So to really understand how can you take your own unique story, personality, communication style, and get people to want to buy your products or service. So we've covered some of this, right? What people really want to purchase, how to build in know, like, and trust. And again, I've got templates, I've got kind of scripts and, all kinds of things in here. The surprising secret to closing more sales, the psychology behind higher ticket sales. So getting into 5- and 6-figure sales, like what is that, right? How to get people emotional without being manipulative. The secret to securing big name, high-end clients. This is new. I've added this in. Really fascinating. If you really want to play in the big leagues, like what does that take? How do you do that? It's only $197. It's just one payment. You get instant access to all the training, 30-day money-back guarantee. I'll actually show you inside the course, right? So for example, we dive into like how to structure your offer, how to actually do that. And I give you the swipe copy, right? So literally what to say, how to ask the questions. All of it's here. You can see here, we've got all the different sections in the course of Sales Psychology and Secrets. So you've got, 5 different trainings on why people buy, what they want to purchase, some specific tips, why big name brands choose certain types of coaches and consultants. You've got the surprising secret to closing more sales. You've got more of how to pre-qualify people. So the psychology of before you get on a sales call, what do you need to ask? What do you need to say to make sure that you've got the right person, the right lead, if that makes sense? You want to get the right people ahead of time, right? And so you can see these are significant trainings like videos, copy and paste scripts. During the call, how are you going to get people to really trust you during your sales presentation? What are the key elements you're going to put in there, right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to give you swipe copy to actually build out your journey, your story. all kinds of things about the sales kind of transition secrets, how to like really position your services, how to say it, how to offer it, right? How to close high ticket sales. That's valuable, right? We've got lots of case studies in here too. So examples of, lots of different things that you're going to understand that go into really being able to convert. Like understanding the psychology of all this is key. And that's what I'm so excited about sharing this with you. So let me do this. Let me make sure that people are getting access and questions answered. So I'll turn off the screen share for a second. Let me know in the chat too if you have questions. And if you're signing up today, let me know that too, because I want to offer you something extra. Anyone that's signing up today, so tell me if you're signing up, and then I will reveal my secret little bonus for everyone that's on live right now. But I'm not going to tell you until you tell me you're signing up. So, woo! All right. So here's the thing. If you really feel like you want more insight into what makes people tick and why they buy and what goes into really positioning yourself and taking all the guesswork out of it so that it's very simple, logical, then this is the course that you want, right? It's very simple. What you saw today is actually being able to implement it, right? And so John said, if I'm unable to buy today, does the offer tag along with the replay? It does, but it's not going to have the same pricing as today, and it's not going to have the little bonus I'm going to offer you, John. So here's what I would say, my friend, $197, sign up now, put it on a card. You get 30-day risk-free refund, and you're going to get my little special bonus that I'm going to reveal here in a second. So John in Oak Grove, Minnesota, get in on this, man. I know you're going to love it. Catherine has, I'm not taking on new clients right now. You're here because this is interesting one day. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're been crushing it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so I'm getting messages from people here in the live chat too. There is a live chat feature on the page. So if you need to do have questions about things or whatever, let me know. You can also do chat here in the webinar. I would say, this course has really been built from a decade of doing this. All the mistakes, like my own hero's journey with sales, like what it was I sucked at sales. I learned all these mistakes the hard way. What happened was I really started pivoting and understanding why I was failing at sales and what the psychology, that piece of it, and really studying and learning and going through different trainers and books and programs. What happened was I really figured out there's just some key core elements. And what it's like now is being able to, close sales, being able to sell high ticket programs, online courses, everything in between, and really realizing, there's a map here. There's a formula. It's not rocket science. Like the beautiful thing about this is I've distilled it all into an online course so that it's very simple to follow and implement. And it really is about understanding that there's certain things you have to do, certain boxes you have to check emotionally, intellectually, when you connect with people. And it's not necessarily rocket science, but most people don't do it. And especially online. That's where there's this big black hole, this big gap. And that's where I struggled too. And so I've tried to really put this into a format in the course where it's like, this is very simple. Before the call, I can ask these key questions. During the call, I can, mention these key things, and that's how you convert. And that's how it gets through. All right. So people are saying, it's hard to believe you've sucked at anything. Are you kidding me? Like, man, I am, listen, if you know my story and my mindset stuff, like, everyone struggles. Like that's the big thing. I have a slide when I do mindset training, Mark and John, like, may your life be as awesome as you pretend it is on Facebook. Like everyone struggles. Everyone makes mistakes. Like even Tony Robbins struggles. Like, and the big thing about it is just being authentic about it and being approachable about it. No one descended from on high and had it all figured out. I've struggled just as much as everyone else. But you just keep going, right? And you keep learning and pivoting and adjusting. And so that's what's exciting about this today. So here's what I want to do. I want to double check. Okay, I got chats coming in here. Let me know if you're signing up, and I'm going to tell you what the bonus is. Okay. All right, so I've got somebody. All right. Somebody's got a question about compliance. All right. You can run a gent for an hour to make. Yeah, exactly. That's right, Catherine. Right, exactly. You can fake it. So here's what I want to do. For anybody signing up today, you're getting $200 off the normal pricing. This course is normally $397. So you're saving $200, and I'm going to give you a free 15-minute one-on-one consulting call. So that's the secret bonus for anyone that signs up live right now. You're saving $200, and you're getting 15 minutes free one-on-one consulting with me. And more importantly, if you think about what one new sale is for you, one new client, like it's probably a heck of a lot more than $200, right? So investing in yourself, getting this training, getting my help for 15 minutes one-on-one, the ROI should make really good sense. That's the other big thing with sales psychology is like make the math simple, right? So if I ask you like what's one new client worth, what's one new sale worth, you know in your head immediately like what that is. So the ROI on this should be really simple for you. It's like, yeah, if I get one new client, I've 10x, 2x, 5x the investment. And you will, because the beautiful thing about this program and the concepts and the principles in it is they're tested, they're proven. Like human beings have not changed. How to get people to engage, how to get people to feel emotional, how to get people wanting to work with you. That has not changed with the advent of the internet, social media, anything else. It's still human beings, since we were cave people, swapping dinosaur bones. None of that's changed. So that said, here's what I want to do. Anybody that's signing up, let me know either here in the webinar chat or in the live chat. And I will get you that 15-minute free bonus call. Just actually here, let me put my email in. Free bonus call, john@nemomediagroup.com. And then what we can do too is if you have questions, there's a live chat. So let me show you that as well. So we'll pop over to this page. So on the page here, just click on the bottom right where it says chat with John Nemo. And then you can actually, this is me, right? This is actually me. So you can ask me more questions, what your situation is, will it work? Here's what I have going on, et cetera, et cetera. And again, if you sign up right now live, you're going to save $200. It's normally $397, and you're going to get a 15-minute call. So with all that said, here's what I want to do. I want to make sure, because I got some stuff coming in. Okay, let's do this. Hop over to that page. Let me redirect everybody. I'll pop that open. I want you to go in and grab it. Again, if you have any questions at all, let me know. We'll do the live chat there. And then I will get a replay of this up. There's more Noon with Nemo coming. What are we covering next week? We're going to cover, it's a simple secret from 1936 that makes business infinitely easier. That's next week. So with all that said, thank you, everybody, for being on. Super excited for those of you that are going to sign up. I will get you the free bonus call. Let me know if you have any questions. Hop over to that page, and then we can also chat more live one-on-one individually, and we will go from there. Thanks, everybody. So appreciate you being on today, and we'll talk more soon.